What's going on, Cancer? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and are you ready for that moon and Sag? This is the time to think, get expansive. This is the time to go out there and get things. I'm really feeling this energy of doing things that get you inspired, doing the things that you wouldn't expect you to inspire you. We'll get into more of that in a second. This is going to be a time to journey out of your comfort zone a little bit, is what I'm kind of getting with this energy a little bit. A little happy accidents, but more so like happy surprises. But that's more so. Let's go with that. I like the happy surprises. But before we get into all that, if you are new here, again, my name is Justin, and know that when you're coming across this video, you're in sync with the moon, and she loves that. And this is also a place for those of you if you have Cancer in your placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, maybe even Jupiter, wherever. This one's for you. Or if you just like kicking it with Cancer, because I mean, come on. Enough said, we're the greatest. And I do tarot cards, friends, based of our ruler here, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and when she's going to avoid, of course. Just all those lunar shenanigans. And just so y'all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what fits into your story, discard the rest, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. Because, yeah, we got an exciting one. I always like when the moon is in Sagittarius. I feel like I think it's a great way after you get done working through the waters of Scorpio, just something to kind of burn the energy off and to just grab life by the reins again and just to go out there, shoot that arrow and just see where life takes you. I really do enjoy Sag. But before we get into that, I'm going to go ahead and get shuffling. Depending on when you're watching this, happy Moon Day. The moon is associated with Mondays. And this is just a great time for just checking in with yourself, I think, to see how you're feeling, see where maybe things have gotten a little routine with the moon being in Sagittarius, and where you can mix things up a little bit, where you can, variety is the spice of life. I like that. So maybe go try a different food or something along those lines. Cook a different dish, maybe working with maybe even something like as simple as working with some different herbs, possibly even on this moon day. Maybe inviting some friends over who, ooh, I like that. Thanks to myself. We'll get into that in a moment. But yeah, those are some things I find moon days, you know how there's that saying, people when you get around to Monday, they're just like, ugh, Monday. Well, if you let that ugh be the tone, then that's going to be the day. So finding ways to nourish yourself out of that and be like, all right, let's do this Monday. I think I feel a great way to tackle this day. Now, depending on when you're watching this, on the 9th of September, the moon is going to be entering into Sagittarius at about 10:25 a.m., and that's going to be Pacific time. She'll be forming about 5 aspects with the traditional planets while her time is during her time in Sagittarius. So this may be a busier one kind of collectively, maybe a lot of movement that may be going on there. And when you have the moon in Sagittarius, I do feel that it is one where I feel Sagittarius, being that they're Jupiter ruled, they have this way of when energy is feeling stagnant, when you've been feeling kind of in a slump or really been kind of focusing maybe on one thing, Sag is like, all right, let's get out there and do something. Let's go out there, mix it up. I tell you what, I have some really good friends, both of them, they have their suns, Mercury's, Mars, and Sag. Well, no, one has Mercury and Scorpio, but they got a lot of Sag energy, and I tell you what, it always lifts me up. Like when we're together, it's just between my Leo placements and their Sag placements. I mean, it's a party. We have a great time when we go out, and that's what I feel Sagittarius. Especially if you've been feeling a little down in the dumps, been feeling a little beat up, it can help you just getting outside for a little bit, getting some fresh air, just moving going for a walk can even be just something that can. I find too, especially if you've been like stewing in your own space. Let's say you've been kind of banging your head against the wall about a problem. Getting out like that can help give you some new inspiration. Can help even give you just like this new insight in a sense. So I really like the moon in Sag for that. So if you've been, I will say, one thing with Sag, it's being mindful of, if you're, especially if you've been feeling a lot of hotter emotions, if you've been feeling like any sort of anger, frustration, irritation, crankiness, things along those lines. Sag can throw some heat. Sag can throw some heat. So just pay attention to that of projecting onto others. Are you annoyed at this person because of what they're actually doing, or is there something deeper that's going on? So just something I feel like to just kind of keep an eye on there with Sag. Now, she's going to be coming into a first quarter phase. This is going to be happening on Mars Day, the 10th of September. And this first quarter is going to be happening at 11:05 p.m. And again, that's Pacific time. And I'm going to pull up a chart here. There's the chart. Now, as you see here, the first quarter is when you have the mighty sun and the magnificent moon here. This is when the first quarter and the last quarter are when the sun and the moon are 90 degrees apart from one another on the zodiacal wheel. And the difference between the two is when we're in the first quarter, this is when the energy is starting to increase. We're waxing towards the full moon. And when we're getting to the square point, squares are Martian in nature. They can bring about this tension. There can be this sort of, I almost feel like inflammation in a sense. It almost feels like the nerves are just like, oh, I just need to do something. Like an antsy feeling sometimes is what I feel a square can kind of come across as. But it's because the energies are needing to do something. We're needing to make a move. So whatever this, let's say you've been getting some inspirations during this Virgo lunar cycle. Some things have been coming up for you that you're wanting to try or that you've been wanting to get in order. This would be the great time to really get that stuff started. This is the first quarter is the action point here. Now we're at the stage of the moon where we're seeing half the picture now, but it's, how do I want to put this? Like, let's say if you wanted to, just on a basic level, let's say if you wanted to, one of my favorite ones is, let's say you wanted to get out walking more. This would be the great time to, okay, maybe you've been thinking about it, been pushing it off. Let's get it into action now. Because once we get to the full moon and things start to wane, the inspiration kind of turns away from it. And you may think like, oh, I could just start it at any time. You know what? I had a period. I'm really thinking I've been really kind of reflecting on this here recently. I had a moment, this was probably a couple of months ago. I was feeling really inspired to do something where I could barely sleep. I was like ready to do something. And I told someone about it, and they got deflated. And I live and you learn, but I've not felt that since, not quite as strongly as that. And I'm just I am going to approach that later. It's still hovering there. So that's why I feel like with the first quarter, this is a great time while the energy is motivating you. Get some intentions and try to get some things growing in wherever this area is happening. These areas that are happening, excuse me, in your chart. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about too with this square is that Jupiter, Big Papa, is in the mix here. And he's not only is the moon going to be forming an opposition with him, like literally maybe a couple hours later. Oh, because the sun and the moon are forming the square at 19 degrees to the minute. But Jupiter's also forming a square with the sun. So you got this T-square that's going on here. And the sun's the mitigator between this moon and Jupiter here. Now let's talk about that opposition with the moon and Jupiter, because that's when the planets are 180 degrees apart from one another. And the oppositions are Saturnian in nature, so they're on opposite ends. And so how I like to think about an opposition is you're looking at a situation that may be getting in your way. You're looking at something that's opposing you, that you're working with, something that you need to be patient with. It's like, okay, what can I do? I'm wanting to change jobs. Let's say, for example, I'm wanting to change jobs. I've put my applications out there, and now I'm on like a waiting process. Do I wait around for this job that I really want to get through? Or do I keep looking? Do I abandon this thing altogether? Because when we're thinking about Jupiter, Jupiter is about faith. Jupiter affirms us and expands us. And so this could be where you're struggling with something like, should I do this? Should I not do this? What's going to be? I mean, what's even the point? Like, I'm going to have to maybe just be the same. Oh, you might get into like a simple, maybe get into like a I'm getting like a self-imposed narrative or something along those lines that keep you like Eight of Swords, that keep you restricted in some sense of some sort of way. But I feel like the sun being the almost like the referee between the moon and Jupiter here is keep the faith. You got this inspiration, trust that. Maybe you got a nudge to try an acting class, and it's like, what sense does that make? Like, why would I do that? How could that possibly be? If I just give it a try. You may be one of those things, you may be surprised. And that's what I feel like this happy surprise is that I was talking about earlier, maybe that may come to fruition, but it's looking at something from a different perspective because Jupiter being in Gemini is in detriment in Gemini, which means that his energy is the weakest and one of its weakest in being in Sag, because it's opposite his home sign of Sagittarius. And it's, even though it's weekend, it's still Big Papa. Jupiter gets a lot of leeway, interestingly, now, even with harder aspects. And so there's still always going to be the opportunity for growth. But I think with it being in Gemini, it's just not overthinking something. It's having the faith. It's, okay, you may have this job that you've been doing, but maybe you wanting to try a different endeavor that may at the moment seem like a financial cut, but in the long run it might do something really big. I'm just throwing out just some general stuff here. But I think that's all I do want to talk about one more thing with the Sabian symbol on this one. But if you are wanting to know how these energies are working more specifically in your chart, want to get more, work with the lunar cycles more intimately. You got a couple options there. You could either join, I have a lunar group that I just started up, and I host different lunar sessions monthly. They're very kind of small, intimate groups. It'd be no more than 4 per session. I have different time slots for the day that the new moon is happening. And we're just looking at what area of your chart that moon is falling in. This one's going to be a really potent one because it's going to be an eclipse that's going to be happening. So that's something that you're wanting to work more intentionally with. Definitely, there is a link down in the description box below to sign up for that. And the eclipse ones are actually, I give a little bit of a discount for those ones. So definitely check that out. And I also have, if you have any questions or anything, there's a link down there below to book a free consultation with me as well. So definitely love to hear from you. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. But let's talk about the Sabian symbol on this one. And then we'll get on to and then we'll talk about that, the void of course, and get on to the tarot. Because the Sabian symbol for this is phase 260 of Sagittarius. And this is in an old-fashioned northern village, men cut the ice of a frozen pond for use during the summer. And the keynote for this is the foresighted use of natural resources to supply future needs. And so I feel that there's a lot of planning that comes in with this. These men are cutting that. I'm picturing those people getting in this circle, carving this thing, because when it does start to warm up, the fish are going to come towards that opening, and there's going to flood out, and they don't have to do any of the work. They prepped then to get something done for later, and that's what I feel is kind of happening in this lunar cycle. We're getting into the practices of something now, doing the routine work because it's getting in the ritual of this thing because it's going to expand us later. And it's going to be something that, and I think that's it. We can go ahead and start to switch back over. But I really think that this is a time to be thinking about the long term. Be thinking about the things that you're investing in now and how is that pond going to look when we get to summer. So, I think that this is just, and I think too, I feel when we're in anticipation for that, sometimes we can get you can almost psych yourself out a little bit sometimes. And I think that the point with this Sabian symbol is to set the intention and then just go with the faith and just keep showing up, keep showing out. And as long as it's raising your vibration, that when something's in your truth and when something's not, when you're forcing something, when something doesn't sit right with you. So really pay attention to that. Now, the last thing on this that I want to talk about is avoid a course. And that's going to be happening on Mercury Day. That'll be the 11th of September. And it'll be going on from 1:07 a.m. until 7:37 p.m. So we're looking at about an 18-hour, 30-minute void of course time there. And the aspect that she's going to be forming, and the void of course happens when she forms her final aspect with the celestial body. And I'm working with the traditional planets. And the aspect that she forms is in opposition with Jupiter. And usually the aspect is what flavors the void of course period of time. So for that 18 hours, I like to think of it as the void of course of reflecting on what happened while the moon was in Sagittarius. What ways were you able to keep the faith? When you were feeling that opposition, when you were feeling that delay, what were some things that you did? Did you have certain activities that helped kind of distract you to get you out of your head? Did you use any sort of affirmations? Did you journal about them? Did you keep like a vision board up? Did you talk with friends? Like what did that look like? And how is that going to keep you going forward into this Capricorn moon? Or it's like, all right, now we really got through this thing and now we're really starting to see some movement here, because now we're starting to get into that, we'll be getting into that waxing gibbous where the light's really starting to pour in there. So with this too, the void of course is also great for just giving yourself a break, especially if you've been in the kind of the mental space, because like I was saying, she is forming quite a few aspects during her time in Sagittarius. So if you've been going through a lot, the void of course is great for taking a beat, getting some rest, doing some deep breathing, doing some things that calm you, some whatever gets you in that flow state, whether that be maybe you're crafting something, maybe you're working on your car, or maybe even it's just straightening up, decluttering the house. I love the void of course energies for doing any sort of like decluttering, maybe giving the wiping down the counters, doing any sort of just kind of straightening up some things, kind of freshening up the energy for the next phase to start up in, so that you're starting off the next sign that the moon's in with fresher energy, kind of sweep up what that mess that happened in there. But I think that's all I got for you. And you know what? Yeah, last little thing. Yeah, I think that's all. So last little thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situation. But before we jump in this, let's get some good vibes in here. I'm going to ring this bell here. I love this bell. So adjust your volume if you need to. I don't think it comes across too loud, but just in case. And let's get into this thing. I do. I really enjoy that. All right, let's get into your general energy of the day. And I dig it. So you have the Amber and Dawn Redwood. In this deck, this is a mix of crystals. It's usually like a mix of crystals and very earthy energy. I really enjoyed that. It's like that would be perfect for Virgo. And this is a card of Rewild. And I like that because this is Earth. Is that Earth energy? Yes. Earth energy and fire energy. Oh, I dig that. Earth and fire. I'm digging it. Okay, and then this is about Druid, Tree Keeper, and perception versus reality. And that's very interesting. That perception versus reality. Maybe you thought that you had this expectation for a certain thing, or that something was going to take a certain amount of time, or that it was going to go this certain amount of way. But you know how life can be. If you'd have told me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that I would be where I'm at today, I'd have been like, okay, in what universe is that happening? But this Tree Keeper is giving me that. You never say never. This Tree Keeper is it's almost keeping. That's very interesting. It's very ancient wisdom that I'm getting. It's looking up at your journey thus far, is what I'm getting with this. Because when I'm thinking about, if I'm remembering correctly, I think the redwoods are some of the tallest trees. I think there's like a forest in, is it in California or something like that, where the redwoods, is it redwoods that grow really tall? I'll have to look into that. But I really think that if you have this, let's say you have this dream, you have this wish, but it's so, I'm getting this, maybe it's so grand, but that I'm getting like that Jupiter energy is just, it's thinking about all of the details. It's like you're wanting to, let's say you want to become just a famous musician, whatever that's looking like, but you're like, oh my gosh, there's all these other famous musicians. How am I even going to stand out? How am I going to do blah, 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 blah? And it's like, well, yeah, like there's a lot that you have to do, but the reality of it is, let's just start with the basics. Practice, and just, the tree doesn't worry about how tall it doesn't think about how tall it's gonna get. It just knows, like, I'm, it's like the greatness. It's very interesting. The greatness is already inside the acorn, something along those lines. There's some sort of parable or some sort of story that's trying to come out of here. Let me get some tarot on this and get some details. I'm even getting like this is something as far as like allowing yourself to dream again, like kind of reignited that fire and that earth energy, that rewild. Maybe something's needing to be awakened here, because I'm trying to get, because there's something in that druid energy too. Let's see what's going on here. Thanks, Divine Self. Very interesting. Got a lot of people here. You got the father of baskets, the mother of knives, the father of coins, and then you got Gullah Jack here. Let's start with this father of baskets. I'm getting a lot of, there's something very, very mystical here. And I think that it's more so, I feel, like you know how that version of yourself, like you seeing yourself of every, because I feel like we've all done it at some point, where if you've ever gone to like a concert, for example, and just imagine like yourself, like, man, all these people are here to celebrate, like to see me, and I'm here to bring this thing. There's something here about something that's wanting to be unlocked, something that person is in you, but it may not be how you're thinking with the mother of knives here, only because it's like you're seeing it through the lens of that person and how they're doing it as opposed to how you do it. All these redwoods are, where they're the same tree, they grow differently. You know, that's something that's coming through there too. There feels even like a little bit of, I'm getting even a little bit of pressure here with these three people to Gullah Jack. There feels, because that's the Gullah Jack is the hanged man, and I'm getting maybe this could be others people's perceptions of what your reality should be versus what you actually want to do. This could be this druid here. It's like you're calling, there's like an ancient calling. Something that, and when I say ancient, this could be something like maybe entertaining something like when you were a child, possibly. I have a telescope on the way. I had a telescope as a child, and I was like, wow, like this is something that I've been looking up at the sky, even, like, and I'm sure we all may have had, maybe not, but it was something that has been calling to me, and so that's on the way. And that's what I feel is calling here, like it's not like you're changing your job. You're not have this is not it's not like a life crisis. It's more so just like, you know what? I want more of something in my reality here with the five of coins here. He's got his land, or excuse me, father of coins here. And maybe there's some five of coins going on. Maybe we feel like we can't do this thing, but the father of coins is like you have this wish, you're wanting like your reality to feel a bit richer, like maybe your wishes are coming true. And I and what I'm thinking with this is like it's getting in this practice. This Gullah Jack is meditating on the things that have been maybe getting in your way. Okay, really kind of seeing the truth here, kind of going through the archives, going through the records, and getting rewild. Getting rewild, allowing a new side of you to come through there. A part of it's almost like this mother of knives with how she has this knife going through this book. It's like there's a chapter that's been skipped and she's like, we gotta I want to unlock this here. Like this is why do we skip over this chapter? That imagination that's wanting to come through here. That's really fascinating. You know what? I mean, I even got an image with Amber. How you'll see like the mosquitoes or different things preserved perfectly in amber. There's something I'm even getting like, I got the word even like, I got pineal gland, but only that it's something that's maybe been hardened, that's wanting to, there's like a casing that's needing to be broken through. And this is some like delicate work that's needing to be done. Like you're needing to just kind of look through some things, maybe journal some things out, maybe talk some things out. Let's get a little bit more on this. This is very Sag. This is like going on expansion, doing something that you didn't thought you would do, but and this could be with these people even. Maybe someone offers you to do something here. Get out of your comfort zone in a sense, to just get you rewild, to get you reanimated in a sense, to breaking up something kind of prehistoric, something unlocked. Like, let's see what else is coming through here. Whoa, look at all these fathers, all these kings here. Thanks, Divine Self. All right. Ooh, and Big Mama. Oh, look at all these fathers. All right. You got four of a kind here. So you have the Father of Sticks, the Father of Knives, the Six of Baskets, and then Big Mama, the Sun card. There's a lot of wisdom here with these fathers. I think that if you, let's say you maybe, even, there's something that's wanting to be shared here with the Six of Baskets, a gift that you have. This is Sun in Scorpio. Something that is a resource that's wanting to be shared. It's like, I'm getting a play energy, but in the sense that, let's say if I remember my mom had told me that she was thinking about writing a book. I have to ask her where she got with that. But I would love that. I think that she would, she's got a great mind. So I would love that. I think a lot of people will love that. And I think that this could be where I'm getting evens for something. It doesn't matter what chapter in life you're in. You can always start up something new. You can always start up a thing that can get you rewild. If you've been You know what I mean? My stepfather just retired maybe a couple of years ago, and I think it's probably been one of the best things for him because he's in this place now where, I mean, he's been working in the garden. I mean, things are just coming to. He's got such a creative mind, and he just put together another fish tank. He's been working out in the garden. I mean, just bringing things to, like, growing peppers and the sorts. He was talking about making a trail in the back of. We got this little back of the woods here. I mean, he's doing it, doing it for real. And oh, hubby, hubby, this mother and father of knives here. Maybe you were told something. And that's interesting. I'm getting where you got a lot of something going on in your head, possibly. Like, and you see all these baskets here with the father knife, or excuse me, all these clocks here with the father and knives. It just seems like maybe you've been really kind of wound, like, focused on time and where's the time going, as a or instead putting that energy towards, instead of watching the time spend, watching your stuff grow. I feel with the father of sticks being here. And realizing too that whatever happened in the past is in it it's happened in the past, and now we're in a different reality now. The perception is different. You can look at yourself from a wiser place, from a taller place, with this amber and dawn redwood. This is a dawn of, I just got like Druid Rising. Like, that's really cool. There's Let me get a little bit more with Big Mama, and then we'll get some advice from Big Papa. Because something's being revealed with the sun. There's seeing things with the new light here, and and this could even be where you may be thinking about learning violin. Maybe you happen to be, you could be 60, you could be 16. Do it. You're 23. It doesn't matter. You know, I think that it's all about the father time. I'm thinking about those clocks a ticking in his head. It's like, instead of worrying about the time, taking the time to do the things that matter for you, that lighten you up. Yeah. Let me get these clarifiers. Thanks to myself. Let's see what's going on here. Absolutely. So the Big Mama is celebrated absolutely by the Four of Sticks, and this is about celebrating here. Is that because I think that this four of wands to Big Mama here is the celebration, is because we're, look at these two. These two had just had a baby in their. And if I'm remembering the story of this correctly, it's that they're planting the placenta, because I want to say that was for good luck or something along those lines. It was an old kind of root worker thing to do. Let me hold on. I'm gonna pull that out really quick, just for a brief moment, because I want to say that's what was going on there. Yes. So a happy couple is planting their baby's placenta with angelica flowers beneath a lush crepe myrtle tree in the hopes of attracting good fortune to the child. And I really love that. And I think about bringing that inner fortune to your inner child, to that child of you that maybe says that you don't have time to indulge in this, or that it doesn't make sense to do that, or whatever that is. That allow yourself more time to do things, to do the things that get rewild. I like that. Our perception is our reality, and we can change that. Let's get some advice from Big Papa. Thanks for myself. I like that. Oh, we get a couple here. All right. I love that. Okay, so you have the rebirth and reinvention card here. And then you have, meditate to dig deep. And we were, let's hold on. Let's switch back over. So let's talk about that meditate to dig deep again, because we were just talking. We were just planting angelica flowers for good luck, for good fortune, for your dreams, for your inner sunlight here. You've been blessed by four kings. Like that's really take that in. That is the four kings. That's the pinnacle of that's all four aspects of the emperor. So now you have all the things you need for the rebirth, for the reinvention, for the rewild that's happening here. Let's redo this story, remake this, and reanimate this into something totally different. Let's plant some crystals. Look at them doing some earth magic. Let's really do. At least that's what I feel. This energy is inviting, and then watch how that grows. And I even get this feeling with how this person is rising out of the water, just how relieved they feel doing it. And like, oh my gosh, why did I wait this long to do this? You know, what was that about? And not even beating yourself up about it. It's just like, wow. But you know what? And I was going to say better late than never, but no, it was exactly on time. It was exactly on time, because now you're going to be able to enjoy it more, and maybe think about that too. Maybe at the time you wouldn't have enjoyed it as you would now. So think too. I think that something is happening here for for a reason, and then the Mother of Knives will bring this clarity. The Sun's bringing clarity. Even Gullah Jack, there's insight with the Hanged Man. All the things are going to come together. That's beautiful. So I'm going to leave that there. If you like that, if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up. And share this if you know someone who you think would resonate with this. And then subscribe there, Big Mama. Hit that bell button. Get notified on all these videos each day. And then last little bit, if you want to know what's going on in the celestial skies. That could have been way more. Let's try that again. If you're wanting to know what's happening up in the cosmos, I do weekly transits where I usually speak more eloquently. It's a coin toss sometimes. It's getting more fluent every day. But if that's something that you're wanting to look into more outside of the lunar shenanigans, come over to my other channel, Alchemist 8. I do, and actually I'm going to get your surprise cards here. But I do, those videos weekly there, and I also do videos talking about different planetary placements and different signs and different houses. Those have been little videos that I've been starting up. I've been really enjoying those. So yes, and all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But yeah, let me get your surprise cards here, so I can get you out of here, get you out there, manifesting, conquering the day. All right, ooh, we're getting a lot. I love it. Thanks to myself. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So you have the St. John's Wort card, which is a card of radiance. Radiance. You have the Rose card here, which is a card of love. This is associated with Venus and the Moon. The St. John's Wort is with the Sun. And Mercury here, which is on this card, is for the Lavender card. And this is the card of the Weaver. But let's talk about the Radiance card, because we have the Sun here. Big Mama's here, and this is you running wild. She's out there running wild, running free with the animal. And unabashed by it, unashamed. There's nothing, and that's interesting. There's this house that's burning in the background here, and there for some, I'm getting a liberation for something. There was something there with the Mother and Father of Knives that felt hushed or maybe silenced even. So that might be something, if that's resonating. There may be a time where something is burning up, something is being released, and let it be replaced with love. Absolutely. Let's start to nourish this dream, this rebirth, this and meditation to dig deep. Yeah. Because there's gold and I mean gems in this. I'm even got an image of Pluto even and thinking about how where Pluto will do that deep work, but it's find crystals and oil and thing, all these precious metals and natural resources. But then you have the Weaver here, this lavender card. And this card is giving me no one has the imagination that like you do. No one's able to weave a web. Every spider weaves their web a little differently. Every tree grows a little differently. Even if they're the same genus, whatever's, there's always going to be some nuance there. There's always a nuance. Source is nuanced. And so I really feel like it's weaving more things that make you feel radiant, weaving more love, and take this wisdom from your journey thus far. Where take a look at all your experience up in this far. That four of a kind, that kind of when that kind of stuff happens, that's a very very powerful message here. I really feel like it's again the kings are that wisest point. And so I really feel that there's you're growing from experience. You know, you're never working from scratch. You're always building on a foundation. Never forget about where you've come from. You know, and that and in the sense of like not letting it define you, but remember that you've overcome all the whatever has happened up until this point, and you're going to continue to do that. So I dig it. I'm going to leave that there. So stay mindful out there. Keep raising that vibration through the roof. Keep eyes on the moon. And I will catch you on the next one. Oh, where am I going to catch you? Mercury Day.